Hello, everyone, and welcome back to. Oh my goodness, sorry, I lost it. Wow, what a start! The Unnamed Sports Show.
He leaves for
I,
1 week and he just
I know
blows it up.
falling apart at the seams already. Goodness gracious. Anyway, let's start that over. Welcome back to the Unnamed Sports Show. I'm your host Ryan. I'm joined by my co-hosts Jerry and Jason. What's going on, fellas?
What it do?
Not much,
Uh,
man. Not much.
Hey, yeah, it's been a crazy week. Sorry I missed last week, but guess who's back?
Back,
Back
Back
back.
again.
in, back again.
This guy's back again. And I got some things on my mind. Got some things I want to talk about. You know, Brown's not in the playoffs anymore. But anyway, before we get into any of that, please don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us at Unnamed Sports S on all of our social media. We're on X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And then after this, you can listen to our podcast wherever you hear your podcast. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, leave us a review there. So we appreciate all those listening. And let's jump right in. Yeah, sorry I missed last week, guys. Sometimes duty
Work,
calls and
life.
we have other jobs outside of this, so couldn't
You mean you're not making
unfortunately
enough money from our show yet?
not yet. But you guys could change that. Not you guys, but
You
The
you
guys.
guys.
audience. You at home.
You at home, just for
um
5 pennies a day.
um but but before we get into this week, let's go back a week. You guys were deprived of me getting to talk about my Cleveland Browns getting destroyed in the first round of the playoffs against the Houston Texans. I mean, it was one of the worst performances I've ever seen after that first quarter. You watch Joe Flacco sit back there and, he gives and he takes. Those first two drives, he was great. Well, I'm sorry, the second and third drive. The first drive was a 3 and out, but the second and third drives, we were answering. It was 14-10. I was like, okay, this is going to be a shootout. It's going to be a good game. And then Houston scores, and then we 3 and out, and then Houston gets a field goal, and then we're down 10. It's halftime. Okay, 24-14. That's not impossible. We were down by 10 points to the Bears with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left, and we tied. Or I'm sorry, we were down 7. We were down 10 earlier in the game with about 4 minutes left. So 10 points, that's nothing, especially with the explosive our offense was. And we come out and throw back-to-back pick sixes. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I mean, and then our defense decides to let CJ Stroud look like Peyton Manning in his 10th year in the NFL. I mean, here's the other thing. People were talking about, okay, oh, CJ Stroud this, CJ Stroud that, perfect passer rating almost, and blah, 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 blah. And don't get me wrong. I love CJ Stroud. I think he's an excellent quarterback. I think he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL here going forward. But it's not like he was putting balls into windows. Okay, everyone was wide open. Like no one within 5 to 10 yards of them.
Y'all
And we had
safeties got burnt.
yeah, Ronnie
Bad.
Hickman looked like it was uh Ronnie Hickman and Greg
Newsome.
Newsom were the two problems in that game. They were the liabilities on the field, and they decided that they couldn't guard anybody. So tough way to go out. However, having said all of that, what an excellent season. 5 starting quarterbacks, still won 11 games, still made it to the playoffs in a season where we could have been like the Jets and missed the playoffs early. And we didn't even have a chance of someone like Aaron Rodgers coming back. We brought a guy who's 39 years old off the street, off the couch to come in and quarterback our team. And he threw 5 straight games of over 300 yards. He threw 6 straight games of 2+ touchdowns. And that's all you can ask for. As disappointing as it ended, as frustrating as I was when at the end of that game in the fourth quarter, I still am proud of my team, happy with our team, and when you get the rest of our offensive line, Nick Chubb, Deshaun Watson, Anthony Walker, Grant Delpit, when all these guys come back next year, I think we're going to be much better. So that's my rant. I'm done now. I appreciate you guys giving me the floor to do that.
The record time on the rant, honestly, you only took up 6 minutes. I think we both took up at least 20 when we did ours. So
Yeah. All
No,
right,
it's.
I got a question. Okay, sorry, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say it's hard to be like it's very frustrating seeing how well we played in so many games this year. But it's hard to be mad when like we won 11 games. We won 11 games for the second time since 1986. Like we won the 11 games the second time. I mean, how can you be mad at the season as a whole, especially with as well as we played down the stretch and we beat some good teams. You know, we beat the two favorites in the Super Bowl this year. We
Mhm.
beat with PJ Walker and with Deshaun Watson with a broken arm, like or broken shoulder. Like you can't be mad. You can't be upset at that. And I'm proud of the season we had. It was fun to be a Browns. It actually was a fun year to be a Browns fan. You know, and yeah. So that's all I have to say about that. What was your
Yeah.
question, Jerry?
Would you rather have Joe Flacco or Deshaun Watson next season?
Deshaun Watson. I mean, don't get me wrong. Joe Flacco unlocked levels of our offense that we had not yet seen. But if you want to talk about the peak ability of both players, Deshaun Watson has the potential and has shown like has gotten to that point before that is much higher than Joe Flacco. And Joe Flacco is great. I mean, I would love to sign him as a backup. He doesn't really we won't because we're going to try and develop DTR and we're going to have Deshaun Watson obviously as our starter, but it'd be amazing to have him. Somebody else is going to pick him up to be a bridge quarterback or a backup somewhere else. But it's had Joe Flacco gone and won the wild card round and then beat the Ravens, and we're sitting in the AFC Championship right now. Okay, that's a different story.
Right.
That's okay. Yeah. How do you not sign this guy again? Even if we lose the AFC Championship, how do you not sign him back? But you, at the end of the day, like you can't you can't bring somebody back when you have a $230 million quarterback. And he was great. He was fantastic, but he threw 10 interceptions in 6 games. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, that's what you get with Joe Flacco too.
yeah,
He's gonna have 3 touchdowns a game along with 2 picks. Like that's
Yep.
just kind of how he is. Yeah, I agree with you. Deshaun Watson, his peak is definitely higher than Joe Flacco's, but Flacco brings that kind of experience and leadership into the locker room. So seeing him in a backup role, I think would be really good for the Browns team there.
no, that'd be amazing. But that part won't happen either,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Uh, and understandably, like, I'm not mad at Andrew Berry for not doing that. Like, excuse me there. But all right. Any more questions on the Browns who aren't even playing last weekend or this weekend? Good. Moving on.
Hey, no, we did have one more question that Jerry asked last week.
Oh, what was the question?
Coaches, why
What
do you
about it?
believe that you guys fired
Uh,
your tight end and
Tight
who was
ends
that
coach,
running
running
back?
backs coach, OC.
OC.
So I think we fired our. Uh, honestly, everyone was surprised about that. But if you look at our running backs really didn't develop at all this year. And
Mm,
as as uh, as good as Nick Chubb is, I feel like he could
You.
potentially hide. I mean, Stump Mitchell's not a bad coach. I'm not trying to say that at all, but and I don't know if maybe they had an idea because we just hired Deuce Staley, so I didn't know if there was well, this is who we would rather have instead
Mhm.
already, or if it was just simply a question of listen, Jerome Ford got better up until about the 6th week, and then capped. He did not get any better the rest of the season. As a matter of fact, our running production significantly dropped the last quarter of the season and into the playoffs. So I, I'm not too mad about it. What I am upset is if Bill Callahan leaves. It looks like he's probably going to stay, but his son just got hired to be the head coach of the Titans. So if he wants to go coach
Right.
with his son, that would make me upset. The tight ends coach was a little bit surprising considering how good David Njoku was down the back half of the season. But part of me thinks a lot of that had to do with Joe Flacco getting him the football. You
Yeah.
know, It
Mhm.
and his blocking has actually been really good this season too. I don't know if they just didn't see it out of uh the the backups not improving. I'm not sure on the tight ends coach. And then the OC Van Pelt, I think that's actually probably happy for both parties to part ways. I mean, I'm sure Van Pelt, he said he was surprised, but he's going to actually have an opportunity now. It looks like there's a chance he gets picked up by the Raiders to actually go call plays. Stefanski's our play caller, and I think when you looked at the back half of the season, like there's a clip of D'Amico Ryan's talking to his cornerbacks, literally calling out exactly what our offense is about to do, exactly what Joe Flacco is going to do, and exactly the route that the receiver's about to run, and then they pick six us the next play.
Hmm.
So, uh, when now you can say that's Stefanski's fault too. I mean, he's the one scheming it up, and calling the play, but I think he wanted to bring someone in that could work with him in developing a better offense that suits Deshaun Watson better. So
Agreed.
I think that was kind of this decision, and we've hired good hires so far. We picked up, like I said, Deuce Staley is coming as our running backs coach, and the OC for Alabama is now our tight ends coach.
Yeah, I saw that. That
So
was a really good pickup.
I'm not mad at either of those, and it sucks because I do like Stump, but he'll end up somewhere. He'll be fine, and
Hmm.
Yeah.
and we'll see where we go. But anyway, okay, 15. We took 13 minutes that time. There we go.
All right, you
Uh,
got 7 more. I'm just kidding.
moving on. Browns are. I'm glad we got to start the show with that. Hopefully, fellow Browns fans got to listen to that. But let's talk about people that are actually playing right now. Let's recap some of these games. We had divisional weekend, and honestly, it was one of the best divisional rounds I remember in a while because all but one of the games was competitive, and even the one game that wasn't competitive was competitive for a half. I mean, it was
Mhm.
tied at halftime. So we'll start with the one that was the first one on the slate and the one that was least competitive. Ravens hosted Texans. Ravens win 34-10. Jerry, what did you think? Like, let's start with we're going to talk about the Ravens a lot because they're going to be playing and they played a great game this day. But I think it's important to kind of maybe start with the Texans here. Like, how incredible of a season was it for the Texans to go from where they were as the number 2 pick in the draft all the way to making it to the divisional round in the playoffs? Like, speak a little bit to what that can mean for the Texans and what that means going forward.
Yeah, I mean, when you have, they should have had the first pick in the draft last year, right? A last second 2 point conversion
Lovey
gives
Smith.
gives the Bears the first pick, and then the Texans fall to two.
Well, pause for a second too. It wasn't just that the 2 point conversion. It was a Hail Mary ball
Right,
50 yards out for a touchdown and then go for two for the win. I
right.
mean, to
Yeah,
get the
Wow.
number
so
to give him the number 2
to give them
pick.
the number 2 pick instead of getting number one, that was probably the best thing that could have happened for that franchise because CJ Stroud is freaking awesome. I know he wasn't exceptional in this game, but when you look at where they were at last year to where they're at now, winning the division, rookie head coach, rookie quarterback. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better season if you were the Houston Texans. I said it at the beginning of the wild card round when we were previewing it when the Browns we were previewing the Browns and Texans. I said it does not matter from this point forward what the Texans do. This season is a success no matter what. They have literally, nothing else to play for. They're playing with house money at this point.
Mm.
And that carried over into this. I mean, winning a playoff game, going on the road to face the Ravens, obviously a tough out for anybody in the league. Ravens are playing like the best team in the league. But you are setting yourself up for success, and you're going to have, if things fall the right way and CJ Stroud plays like he's playing and D'Amico Ryan turns out to be a top-tier head coach, you're going to have 15 to 20 years of this, potentially.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible. And you say he didn't play great in the game. I mean, he didn't. It wasn't like he was amazing.
Not to his
But
standards of how he played throughout the season.
Yeah, but like he had no help from the run
Mhm.
game. On top of he didn't turn the ball over and he didn't get sacked. I mean, and he had pressure on his face all day. I mean, it still was a pretty. He had more passing yards than Lamar. I mean, it was still a pretty good game. Now Lamar had 100 rushing yards, so
Hmm.
but that's not CJ's fault. He's not playing middle linebacker.
And he's not playing wide receiver, in which
Yeah,
Nico
no,
Collins got locked. Like
locked up,
locked
Yeah.
up.
unbelievable. Uh, Jason, as someone whose team resides in the AFC South, how terrified does this make you going forward?
Look, I thought this team was going to be the second worst team in the league after the Panthers this year, and they make it to the playoffs, and then they win a game against a good defense. This is scary because, like, I look at my team, I'm like, what are we missing other than maybe depth, right?
Mhm.
And it's like we couldn't go out there and secure the AFC South this year. It's only going to get worse from here on. So it's really scary because CJ Stroud now has confidence in players. Now you look at a team, or you look at receivers that are coming out. Like you look at Higgins, he's like, why not play with this guy? Like this guy's
Right.
already good.
Mm.
He's like Joe Burrow his rookie year. Why not go play for him and be the number one receiver there? You look at Mike Evans, like
Oh.
those guys are going to want to be on that team. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, they already. I think there are a lot of pieces away, and they're already that good. So it's like keep adding, they keep adding. They secure some draft picks and some free agency talent. If we move to London, I'm saying it.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
it's amazing what a great quarterback can cover up because they're missing some serious stuff over there,
Yeah,
and he's about to be on his rookie deal for the next how long, and I mean it's gonna be scary, and then not to mention that went from last year probably. Correct me if I'm wrong, but last year probably the worst division. NFC South still worst division last year too, but last year being the second worst division in the
mhm.
NFL to next year or maybe the year after that being the best division in the NFL with three top tier talented quarterbacks. And honestly, who knows if that new Titans, if Brian Callahan can unlock a little bit of that potential of Will Levis. I mean, you got all people under the age of like 24 in that
Yeah,
conference.
Yeah.
it's scary because
It is.
they're gonna be there for a long time, and if they stay healthy and um, start getting better talent around them, like it's scary. 'Cause I don't know how much better we can be. Like
Right.
And we're forgetting the Texans for half the year. We're missing Tank Dell, and when Tank Dell
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
healthy, C.J. Stroud and Tank Dell were one of the best freaking QB wide receiver
Hey,
combos in the
whoa,
league. I
hey,
caught
hold
myself. I
on.
caught
Yeah,
myself.
yeah, yeah.
I caught myself.
This
I
is a
caught
family
myself.
program.
It is.
But yeah, no,
Caught
you
myself.
add Tank Dell's talent with Nico Collins. So like in a game against the Ravens can't just double team him and get away with it.
Right.
Forget about it.
Mm.
Yeah. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Flipping over to the other side of the ball, the Ravens. I mean, just another I mean, just add it to the list, right? They've been dominant all season. They have only trailed in the fourth quarter one time this year, and guess who it was against? The Steelers when they benched all of their starters. They have not trailed in a fourth quarter except for that game, which is absolutely absurd. Um, I don't know how that's possible actually. Or trailed going into the fourth quarter? Is that right? Maybe it's that. Or have all their losses come off of last second?
I think so.
Yeah.
Either way, they have they've spent the most time by a lot leading games this entire season. They're sort of that team that the national media doesn't talk about a ton, but they are just fantastic almost in every aspect of the game. Kicker, yep. Offense, yep. Defense, yep. Like every single punter, great. Like punt return, great. Like they literally every single position is locked up. And when you can run the ball for 200 and some yards in a playoff game, you probably are going to win that game. Jason, what about the Ravens has has you thinking, hey, they maybe could win this thing this year, or do you not, or do you think they're not?
Oh no, I had 49ers Ravens for the Super Bowl prediction.
Well, you
Um,
just looked at
I'm
that Super Bowl logo. You know it's scripted, right? I mean, that's what everyone's saying. No, just kidding.
uh, no, but for real though, like you look at these two teams. I mean, it's hard to bet against them. It's just with the Ravens specifically, they're probably the most consistent team. And the more I watch them, the more I'm like, why can't they beat the 49ers? Like you see the ups and downs of the 49ers swaying with Brock Purdy, but they they find a way. But for the Ravens, it's just consistent. I'm gonna
Destroying
hit you.
people.
I'm gonna hit
Yeah.
you and hit you, and then you're down by 21, and it's like, all right, well, what just happened?
And they don't. What's crazy to me too, and I didn't mean to cut you off there, but
Yeah.
the defensive line for the Ravens has the most sacks in the NFL right now. And who's their? I mean, they don't have like a T.J. Watt or a Miles Garrett or like Jadeveon
You ever
Clowney
watch
and Kyle Van
Davion?
Noy.
You ever watch
Jadeveon Clown,
Davion
yeah,
Clowney's
yeah,
college highlight tape? All right.
yeah. I mean,
His
it's
one play in college.
yeah, that got him drafted. What, number one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that play. So it's just it's incredible. I mean, it makes me puke a little bit because it's the Ravens who used to be the Browns. So it's really the Browns are destroying right now. So I'm gonna just call them like
Mhm,
uh,
mhm.
old Browns.
Honorary.
Old Browns are kicking butt right now, and honestly, the old Browns may carry it. Jerry, what about the old Browns? Has you excited going into the AFC Championship game?
I mean, it's got to be the excitement of what Lamar Jackson can do, right? The dude can do everything. He's a running back that can throw. He's a quarterback that can run. He makes plays out of nothing. It's just he does everything, dog. He does everything. And man, pound for pound, they don't have like a superstar guy, right? They don't have that one go-to guy, but pound for pound, they're just solid all around on both sides of the ball. They can get everything done. They can beat you in any way possible.
Mhm.
And it's I know they're the old Browns and you're not rooting for them because division rivals, they took your team, whatever. But man, if they can find a way to get Patty Mahomes out of the playoffs this week, I
Honestly,
might buy a
I'm rooting
Lamar
for them.
jersey. I might buy a
I'm
Lamar
rooting for
jersey
them.
if they can do it.
I'm rooting for the old Browns, and that's what I'll be referring to them for the rest of this season. So if they win the Super Bowl, the old Browns won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hang the
but
banner.
hey, I'm hanging
Look,
it in my room,
look,
and I'm going to cross out say old Browns Super Bowl champions 2024. So I, it is in all honesty, Lamar Jackson. I mean, he's going to win his MVP, but nobody talks about him as a prolific passer. Some of those passes, the one to Isaiah Likely, right over his head, touchdown, easy walk in, like
look.
that was a great pass. There
Other than
was
Patrick Mahomes, I don't think there's a better throw to tight ends because like
yeah,
that man,
No, yeah.
see in seams in that 10 to 15 to 20
yeah,
yard area,
it's
it's spot
incredible.
on the money. It's ridiculous.
It's incredible. And then if you go back, I was listening to I can't remember who it was now, but I was listening to one of the DBs for the Dolphins, and they're talking about a play where Zay Flowers scored a 50-yard touchdown. Lamar
Mhm.
Jackson drops back left-handed, and so it freezes the entire defense. They all shift to the left like it's a lefty quarterback. He flips his hips right, and Zay Flowers is wide open, like nobody there. He catches it, runs it for 50 yards, touchdown. I mean, it's just if that was Patrick Mahomes, that would have been
Right.
replayed
Now let
750
me
times on Sports Center,
now let me
right?
tell you something about this guy. All
Yeah,
right.
here's a guy.
Now here's the guy.
Nah, it's incredible. The Ravens, I think, I think the 49ers technically are the odds-on favorite right now, but they're right behind them. So, moving on to that team, second game, 49ers Packers. 49ers pull it out 24-21 in a game that the Packers were winning that game, were dominating that game for 3.5 quarters. And the 49ers honestly had truly no business uh winning that sorry, I'm getting some Sorry, I was getting some extra noise in my headphones. The 49ers had no business winning that game. That was the Packers basically to lose, and they ended up losing it because their kicker decided he wanted to do his job and missed a kick to go up 7, and then Jordan Love channeled Brett Favre and threw it across his body for the easiest interception I've ever seen.
Identical play.
Literally the
Did
exact
you see
same
it
play.
paired up?
Yes.
Yes,
Did you see it
Yes.
paired
literally
up?
the exact same play. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, literally
Yeah.
INT. So uh, it was one of the best games of the playoffs so far. It's incredible to see the Packers, who are the youngest team in the playoffs, come out and play what everyone is expecting to be the best team in the NFL, all the way down to the wire. What an incredible game, Jason! We'll start again with kind of the Packers and the side that lost, but uh, honestly, there was kind of a common theme besides one team, a common theme among three of the losers this weekend, in that nobody expected them to be here, and all of them, other than the Texans, the other two played really good games and have a lot to take away. Like, what'd you take away from the Packers from this game and going forward with Jordan
Maybe
Love?
they can play defense. Where was it all year? Maybe they can actually play some defense. I don't know.
They fired their DC, by the way.
Oh, whoa.
I
Yeah.
know.
Why not at the beginning of the season?
I don't know.
Right.
I think it's Annie Ainge. Hopefully I said that correct, but she's a Packers fan. She does like the little sports clip shows every weekend.
Annie
after the game.
Agar.
Agar, thank you. Yeah, she's like, yeah, and who would ever wanted him to get fired? And then it's like a bunch of clips of it.
Montage, yeah.
He wanted him fired. But anyways, yes, should have been gone a long time ago. That being said, they do have players, is from what I see, that can play some good defense. I mean, that is the most explosive offense I think in the league, and they were able to keep up. And from getting completely blown out by teams, specifically because of this defense, letting the Panthers score 30, how many points
30.
on them? 30 on them. Like, they have something. They just need a better leader of the defense, obviously.
Yeah.
And again, Jordan Love, he's real. Yeah, that last play was terrible, but he was still able to play. I mean, it was good to see Aaron Jones like healthy. It's good to see Aaron Jones
Finally,
healthy.
it's
Finally.
so good. Yeah, it's so
He-
good. He's so
He's a beast.
explosive.
He's a beast. Like, you asked me last week who are top 5 running backs, and I'm like thinking, and then you're like, what about Aaron Jones? I was like, yeah, what about Aaron Jones? He's definitely a top 5 running back when he's healthy, and he's finally healthy, and he showed that. But fortunately, they couldn't get the win. Little couple more pieces on defense, I think, and I think they'll be a playoff team for a long time to come.
For a long time. I mean, average age is 25, which is absurd.
Crazy.
That's wow.
Jerry, what did you make of the Packers into the season? I mean, a lot to be happy about going forward. Honestly,
Yeah.
again, like I was saying about all three of these 4 teams,
Yeah, I mean it's the same situation as the Texans, right? You're kind of in a rebuild. You're not really looking to get to the playoffs, not looking to win the division, but they
You
sneak
just
in.
lost a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah, another Hall of Fame quarterback, and you probably just got another one.
Another one.
Gosh,
Another one.
this is
another
actually this is actually a they can't keep getting away with it moment right here.
It was that. There's that one, and then I saw the meme. It was. Have you guys ever seen Good Will Hunting?
Yes.
I have not.
Okay.
No.
So there's a scene in that. So the premise of the movie, there's this guy who is like really good at all of these like impossible. I think it's physics or chemistry, something like that, some sort of science, and like he comes in and solves it on the whiteboard, and as you go through the movie, you find out it's Matt Damon's character, and he's like, it just can do this stuff so easily, and the professor doesn't want him to leave because he's like, you got to teach me, like, how are you so good at this? And there's a scene where he comes in, he's like, I'm sorry, this is so easy for me. I wish you could effing do it. I wish you could.
Yeah.
And it was the Green Bay Packers over him talking to the Chicago Bears.
That's amazing.
I know.
But
It's so funny. But continue. I apologize.
yeah, I mean, a rebuild year, they sneak into the playoffs. I don't know how they didn't see this one coming with Anders Carlson missing a kick, because I don't know how this guy got drafted in the first place. He had a 71% kicking percentage in college. 71%. And he's missed clutch kicks all season long. Ain't no way in hell he's going to be on the team next year. That being
I'm
said,
surprised they let him on the plane home.
yeah, honestly. That being said, yeah, I mean, by the Packers standards, not a good year. Obviously, they're used to being in the NFC Championship game and losing to the Seahawks or the 49ers in this instance. But they won a playoff game on the road against a team that hasn't lost all season long at home. Go into San Francisco and nearly beat the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl. Got to call this season a success.
Absolutely. And, you know, it watch out for the Texans and Packers to be continual players in the playoff race for a long time, for a very long time. Um, Moving over to the 49ers, not a lot more to say about them that we haven't already said this year. They're the most right now of everyone in here, besides the Chiefs. They're probably the most talked about team as far as like, oh, they have all this talent. Can Brock Purdy do it? Blah 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 blah. They are a really good team. And Jason, you said it best when we were talking on Saturday. You said sometimes the team with the better players just wins. Like you may have outplayed them, you may have outworked them. They got better players. They
Simple as
just
that.
got better players, and it's true. They have all-stars at every single level, all across that defense and all across that offense. I mean, most teams don't even have the weapons that they have on just one side of the ball. They have it on both. It's quite incredible, and I don't want to spend too much time on them because we're going to talk about them when we're talking about matchups, but quickly, Jerry, your thoughts on the 49ers this season going into conference championship weekend.
There's a reason they are the favorites to win the Super Bowl. They're just a really good team. And
They-
CMC is awesome. I hope Debo can play this week because he is so exciting to watch. But yeah, we'll get into it more. But yeah, they're just really freaking good. Just solid all around.
Just across the board. I mean, truly. What about you, Jason? Any kind of final thoughts real quick on the 49ers? I mean, they're just that
Yeah,
team is stacked.
you said it best. Well, you
Quoting
repeated
you.
what I said.
You
Quote
said
me.
it best.
It's the Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Yeah.
Spider-Man meme.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just sometimes it comes down to players making plays. Like a coach can only do so much. The people out there are the ones making plays, and they're able to make a lot of them. So when it came down to it, they made the plays, and it unfortunately was enough. So
Yeah.
Yep.
It sure was. Moving on to the second most expensive divisional round ticket ever in NFL history. As
crazy.
everyone expected, Jared Goff versus Baker Mayfield. The Lions and the Buccaneers. Lions end up winning 31-23. And honestly, I think my favorite to watch game over the entire weekend personally.
Mhm.
Chiefs Bills, but I was asleep for a good part of that because it was a long weekend, so I had to recap and go through the highlights. So that one was probably technically the most exciting. But uh Lions are moving to the NFC Championship for the first time since 1993, 1993 season, 1994 the year, which is amazing. They had a record attendance again. Everyone's out there supporting the Lions. They are America's team, and we'll talk about them here in a second. But as we've done with the last two losers, starting on the Buccaneers side, a lot to be happy about. I mean, people were projecting. You never want to be the guy after the guy, you know.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And Baker Mayfield stepped into that. Baker Mayfield stepped into a situation where they're $80 million over the cap. He's got a receiver who didn't get signed in the offseason, so he doesn't want to be well. At the time, he was like, "Okay, I guess this is my last season. Like, I got Baker Mayfield as my quarterback." He's in a quarterback competition with Kyle Trask. He's playing defensive end on the practice squad for the Panthers just a year ago. Like, so many different, so much turmoil and so much just like nobody expects anything at a place like Tampa, even though they won the division last year and they do have players on that team. But to then turn around and Baker to him have a record season, 28 touchdowns, and to come out and throw for over 4,000 yards, and then beat the year previous NFC champions in the first round of the wild card round. Oh, by the way, throwing 3 touchdowns, 0 picks, and over 300 yards. And then to step into the Lions game and throw another 3 touchdowns, throw for nearly 350 yards, 349. And yeah, he had 2 interceptions, but really only one of those was his fault. Like, there's a lot to be excited about, and he definitely has earned a long-term contract. I know I kind of went on a little diatribe there, but I actually really like Baker, and he led the Browns to their first playoff victory in so long. Like, it's hard not to root for the guy. Uh, I mean, Jason, what do you make of the end of the Buccaneers season and kind of what they have moving forward?
I mean, you got to be impressed with what they were able to accomplish this season for sure. They just have a lot to figure out, I think, after who they're going to sign, who they coming back with, and because you gotta go get Baker signed, and if you really want to be a team, you gotta bring back Mike Evans. Are you going to be able to sway Mike Evans to stay for a team that on the edge for the playoffs, on the edge for a Super Bowl? Like Mike Evans probably wants to go win another Super Bowl, right? He's coming down to his time where he's like he's the, he's never been the best receiver, but he's always been consistent. So yes, he should be a Hall of Famer. What helps him become a locked in Hall of Famer, another Super Bowl
Right.
on a different team?
I think you're right. I think he has mentioned though not many players get to play for one organization their entire career, and he said that he does want to retire a Buccaneer. So there's something to that too. But I get what you're saying. And there'll be people that'll come out and pay top dollar for Mike Evans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
and he's also not the only like Antonio Winfield. I'm pretty sure this is his rookie
yeah,
contract.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like they have some decisions to make in the offseason. Now, you want all those guys. Can you afford all those guys? And can you build on top of that as well to try to make another push for another playoff Super Bowl appearance?
And we'll jump to you here in a second, Jerry. But just real quick, they do have the third most cap space in the NFL next year because Brady falls off, and
Yeah, I didn't think about that one.
Baker will probably sign for
Relatively cheap, 30
30
million.
million.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is dummy cheap for a
Yeah.
quarterback.
Which is yeah, so
That's
and
20 million less than the max. Like,
exactly, and with the salary cap raising, I mean,
yep,
there's a good if Mike Evans likes Baker and likes being a part of that team, if they
yeah,
can sign everyone back, I mean, Baker has only played in the same system for back-to-back years once.
Yep.
Mm.
Let that
Once.
sink for a second. Can we give the guy a freaking chance to learn an offense?
He's
Like,
had like
Uh,
6 different head coaches
6,
since he's been in the league, right?
8.
8. Oh my.
8. Yeah, probably 6 different for the
8.
Browns.
Yeah, yeah, it was like or 8, yeah, 8 and 5, 6 years, something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
or 8
Well,
different
go ahead.
coordinators. Maybe it's 8 different coordinators, but
Coordinators probably for sure.
Yeah.
still absolutely absurd. What were you gonna say there, Jason?
No, I'm gonna try to figure out the correct number.
Oh,
Go ahead.
okay. Gotcha. Yeah, please do. While we're talking about that, Jerry, not real quick, as long as you'd like, because I just expounded for an hour, it seems like. Talk about what you thought the end of the Buccaneers season meant and what that could mean going forward.
Yeah, I mean, you guys said it best. They have a lot of pieces to figure out, but they also have a lot of bright spots on offense that are young, and Trey Palmer and Rashad White. Rashad White, I think, really took a step forward this year. He looked really, really strong this year, and they've got a strong defense to build behind. Personally, I don't see how after the end of the game you can bring back Todd Bowles. Ryan and I were kind of talking
Yeah,
about it a little bit off
yeah.
air. But man, just absolutely throwing in the towel when you have one timeout left with you could have got the ball back with 37 seconds, 35 seconds maybe down 2 scores, but if the Lions miss a field goal, to kind of set the scenario, the Lions ended up, or sorry, Baker threw an interception at the end of the game, which was a poor decision, of course, but you're trying to take a chance. You have less than 2 minutes left.
And
Buccaneers, and sorry, go ahead.
sorry.
They
All I
had
was
two
gonna
timeouts,
say
right?
was, yeah, they had they had 2 timeouts.
Yeah.
When they threw the pick, they only had 1 timeout left.
Okay. So they had one
Um,
timeout left when he threw the pick, but it was under 2 minutes.
It was 1 minute and 47 seconds left
Okay.
when he threw the interception. What I was gonna say was, people dogging on Baker for that, and yeah, it was a bad throw. You don't make that throw, but he had driven down with 52 seconds in the first half, 92 yards for a touchdown, and was down 2 scores the possession before this, and drove 85 yards with a laser to Mike Evans in the end zone.
Mhm.
I mean, like how many drives this guy gotta orchestrate to win the game. You know what I mean? So anyway,
Right.
people that were like, "Oh, well, Baker can't show up in the big moment." He was showing up all day. Like, let's not get it twisted. But
Right.
continue. So set that stage. So he throws the pick. Minute 45 left. They got 1 timeout left.
So the Lions should have been able. I believe they could have taken their 3 knees and maybe ran the clock out on the last play. Maybe the Bucks would have got the ball back with like 5 seconds. Instead, there was poor clock management on the side of the Lions. They took their knees left with like 20 seconds left on the play clock. So by the time third down rolls around, they snap the ball with about 40 seconds, takes a knee, 37 seconds. The Bucks could have taken their timeout, and the Lions were in field goal range. They could have kicked a field goal.
I think it was right around that 50.
Yeah,
mark.
it would have been like 50 plus. So not a guarantee by any means whatsoever, especially with the way this year has gone and how kickers are missing all over the place. So you have 2 scenarios. You could have got the ball back if they make the field goal with 35 seconds left from your own 25 roughly. Or they miss the field goal, you get the ball back with 35 seconds left at like the 45 or 50-yard line, down 8 points. All you got to do is go down, score, get the 2-point conversion, head into overtime. Todd Bowles elects to not do any of that, lets the clock run out with 1 timeout left on the board, just throwing in the towel for the season. I don't understand how you can bring back a coach like that who doesn't understand the scenario of the game and how to give your team another chance to go and win the game. I don't understand it. That is one of my biggest pet peeves. I had to deal with it last year with Nathaniel Hackett because he is the worst at clock management. He had to hire a guy to manage the clock for him. Nathaniel Hackett gets fired. That guy takes his job. It's my biggest pet peeve in sports, how coaches are supposed to understand the entire environment and scenarios of the game, and especially in the playoffs, give your team one last chance to at least go tie the game and take it into overtime, man.
Especially with as well as he'd been playing. He threw for 350 yards.
Right.
Like,
Give that guy a chance.
you got Mike
I
Evans. Dude,
I don't
just
care
throw it
if
up.
he. I don't care if he threw for 120 yards. Give your
Yeah.
team a chance.
Yeah, I'm with you. I 100% agree. I remember looking at that like, call it now. Of course, I was watching it with one of my a Lions fan, so I was like, in my back of my head, I'm like, oh yeah, woo. Or I was saying, congratulations, woo. But in the back of my head, I'm like, close it out. So I don't know, but
Yeah.
anyway, Lions win. They are now America's sweetheart. They are. I guess let's wrap it up. Buccaneers have a lot of things to figure out the offseason, but I think they found at least their quarterback. And if they don't sign him, somebody else is going to. So kudos to Baker for playing in a prove it year and actually proving it.
Mhm.
But the Lions have, moving on to them, they are now, I think, America's team. Everyone's rooting for the Lions. How could you not? You're talking about a team that has never been to the Super Bowl. One of 4 teams that have never been to the Super Bowl, by the way. And 2 of those teams are supported by 2 people in this group. But um,
Sorry, fellas.
right now, yeah, right
Hey,
now they are 1 game away from getting in, 2 games away from winning it all. And Dan Campbell has those boys absolutely bought in to to his system, to his culture. They go out and they find these guys that just plug and play, and they're perfect. And they have a couple weaknesses. I think their secondary is could be a lot better, and they definitely have some things to shore up. They're not. I don't think the Ravens or the 49ers, but they are an amazingly fun team to watch, and I can't wait to see what they're able to do here. Jerry, what are your thoughts on the Lions? How they've done this season in the NFC Championship? What an incredible year!
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about on the show how exciting their offense is with Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Name the names. Jared Goff, he's awesome. They're all awesome. What really impressed me specifically in this game was their defensive coordinator, whose name is escaping my mind right now. I don't know, but he was drawing up blitzes to get Aiden Hutchinson and Brian Branch absolutely free off the ball. They were untouched getting to the quarterback. The way they were designing their schemes was absolutely amazing. I mean, Baker had a guy in his face a second after taking a step back and
Like three
had to get rid of
times.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The pressure was there. So if they can keep that up, especially against a guy like Brock Purdy, who will probably, suffer in that scenario, he hasn't been great against the blitz. They can make anything happen. The 49ers are beatable, and the Lions have the weapons to beat them. And I'm so excited to watch this game. And how can you not root for Detroit? How can you not?
I would 100% agree. Aaron Glenn, by the way, is the name of the
Thank you.
defensive coordinator. I just looked it up. I did not know that either. The other thing, while he did have some amazing blitz schemes drawn up, there was a couple plays where Aiden Hutchinson was guarding Chris Godwin. So let's let's maybe not have Aiden Hutchinson on Debo Samuel this upcoming week. Jason,
What could possibly go wrong?
yeah, I've seen that story with Devontae Smith. Dog, like,
Yes.
uh, what do you make of the Lions season, man? Like, what stood out to you the most? What's impressed you the most, and what do
Yeah.
you expect them going into this game?
Camaraderie, like the ability to play for each other and just give balls to the wall, man. I haven't seen an NFL team play like that in probably ever since like the Ravens and Ray Lewis time. Like it's kind of crazy to watch them. But you got special players like we keep saying. I love seeing Gibbs finally like actually look like the number one guy there, and hope maybe see that continue going. And then, yeah, just like you said, there's a little bit of holes here and there, but they keep playing for each other. They're playing better than what they show. They do need corners. They have the safeties. See DJ and Brian Branch, probably a top 2, 3
Yeah,
safety combo in the league right
yeah.
now. So they just keep playing like how they're playing. I mean, I ride it for as long as you can, because again, if you can't get to Brock Purdy, they're gonna have some. But if they can get to Brock Purdy, we'll see a hell of a game.
The way that they've bought in, they're playing like a college team. That's
Yeah.
what it feels like. That does not happen in the NFL.
No, it
It's
does
awesome
not.
to see.
It is quite incredible. And Jameer Gibbs, 9 carries for 74 yards and a touchdown on 9 carries. That's crazy.
It's pretty good.
That's
And
very
then
impressive. And he had receptions too.
yeah, I was gonna say some good
Yeah.
receptions as well, I believe.
4 for 40 on
Yeah,
receptions.
yeah, exactly. So you're talking about a guy that actually getting involved in the game and who's making an impact. That he scored to put them up 2 scores, which inevitably they needed to be up two
Yep.
scores. So uh, it's been an amazing season to watch the Lions, and as a fellow team that has never made it to the Super Bowl, that is who I'm rooting for this year, 100%. And I hope. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Brock Purdy and his story, but I don't know. How do you not root for the team that, like, everyone thinks that the 49ers are going to walk all over Detroit? Everyone thinks that they just have too many good players. Like, how amazing would it see the Lions to upset them and make it to the Super Bowl, and who knows at that point? So the last game, this has been our longest recap of the year, but that's fine because this is the divisional round. This is the playoffs, baby.
Playoffs.
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 Bills 24, Chiefs 27. Womp womp. Another wide right for the Bills. And unlike the other three teams that we've talked about, who, while they lost, no one expected them to be there. And for the most part, have relatively bright futures, a lot of young talent on really all three of those teams. Baker's not necessarily young, but for the Buccaneers, they have a lot of new guys on offense and defense. The Bills, like, it's been their year for like what, 5 years now,
4 or
4
5
years
years,
now,
yeah.
and they just can't get past the Chiefs. They just can't do it. It just is not. It doesn't seem to be possible for them. And Patty Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. He's probably going to end up being the greatest of all time. I hate saying it, but he's been to 6 straight AFC Championship games, and he's tied for second longest streak of all time. We're getting 8 is the record with Tom Brady. Sorry, I was losing my train of thought there. But what, Jason, do you think? Like the Bills, I don't know how you reset after this. This what a devastating loss at home against your rival, and you're capped out. Like what? I don't know what. I don't know. What do you think?
Get rid of Stephon Diggs. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say it, though his performances have not been worth the money. And when he doesn't get the ball, when he doesn't get the targets, at least that
He
locker
gives
room
up.
knows. Yeah, he
Yeah.
gives up. He does not play the game. So you get rid of that. That helps you a lot. I think. Um, I mean, there's a dude with the captain sleeve that when he doesn't get the ball, he's blocking his tail off and making sure other people. So maybe throw him the ball a little bit more, and with Davis, and then Shakir looked like a good receiver, and then go draft someone because like you're wasting your money. Unfortunately, you need a number one receiver, yes, but it's not worth it if it is causing your team to fall apart.
Mm.
And you look at the games where they started running the football and taking some of the pressure off of Josh Allen, that team has been a lot better. So if they're not bought into winning, get them off the team.
Yeah.
And then I'm look at the lines, like follow some of that, and then add Josh Allen with that. You're gonna win some games.
Look at the Ravens. They don't have a true number one, and they're the best team in the NFL right now.
NFL, exactly.
Well, Jerry, what are your thoughts on the devastating end to the Bills season?
Yeah, I agree. Get rid of Stephon Diggs. He has been a huge issue all year. Specifically in this game, he had a play. They were down, I think they were on the 50, maybe on the Chiefs 45. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better pass from Josh Allen. It hits Diggs right here in his
Right
hands. It just
there.
goes
Yeah.
right through him. He has a walk-in touchdown if he gets it. And
That's the
I
difference in
know
the game.
it's the difference in the game. There were a lot of issues in the game that led up to the Chiefs winning the game that the Bills had. Not 100% on Stephon Diggs, but man, in a situation like that, you need your number one receiver to make a play, to come down with that catch, to get a touchdown. And if you can't do it, if he's going to whine and be a baby about to be a diva all season, get the hell out of there. Get him off your team. He's nothing but a cancer to your locker room. It's not worth it.
I agree. I agree with you. And to take a little bit more of the blame off of Stephon Diggs, there was on that last drive several other options that Josh Allen could have taken. He had actually Stephon Diggs wide open for a first
Mm.
down. On first down, decided to chuck it into the end zone and got hit by his lineman. Otherwise, actually, if his lineman doesn't get blown back on that play, that's probably a game-winning touchdown. Well, a lead-taking touchdown, but instead they give they end up going 3 and out and giving it to their kicker, and their kicker goes wide right. And who knows if he makes that?
I
Mahomes
still
has the
think
ball
I
with
still think the Chiefs win if he
yeah,
makes that. To be
they
honest
have
with
the
you,
ball back with a minute and 30 left. Like
Yeah.
it was over, but well, not over, but it was like it wasn't like 100% it's going to OT. Now, if you harken back a couple years ago to, I believe it was the AFC Championship, it may have been a divisional round. but I think it was the AFC Championship. It was between the Bills and the Chiefs, and Josh Allen got the ball with like a minute left, scored a touchdown, and then Mahomes got it with like 15 seconds left and
Yep.
scored a field
That
goal
was,
to tie it. I mean, that could have happened. Was that divisional?
Yeah, that was divisional.
Was that the year the Bengals made the? Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
year the Bengals made the Super Bowl. But could have had an ending like that. Ended up Chiefs pick up one first down that was good enough to knead out the clock, and that was all they wrote for the Bills. So unfortunate end of the season. I think getting rid of Diggs is probably what they're going to have to do. He wants to go to the Cowboys anyway, so
Yeah, let him go play with his brother.
He'll lose in
Yeah.
the divisional round there too. It's fine.
yeah, I know it'd be great. Flipping over to the team that is in the middle of their dynasty with their Hall of Fame quarterback Patrick Mahomes, who already now has as many playoff wins as Brett Favre, is moving on into another AFC championship against the Ravens. You know, Chiefs played pretty good, honestly. And if you take out I don't know why Andy Reid decided to give it to what's his name to be fumbled in the end zone when you have Isaiah Pacheco you could just hand the ball off to. But if he doesn't fumble that ball in the end zone, the game was over then.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know. Jason, what did you how do you feel about the Chiefs going into AFC Championship, about the season they have so far? It's one of those, it's like they don't feel like they should be here from a watching them standpoint. But of course, the Chiefs are here. It's Andy Reid, it's Patrick Mahomes, and it's Chris Jones and that defense. I mean, it's the same old song and dance.
I'm telling you, it's Grandpa.
It's too dang bad.
I literally was going to, like I said last week, I was going to jump through a table for the Bills if they beat the Chiefs, and here we are. No table has been broken. So, we have good defense. We have a generational talent at quarterback, and I guess that can get you to a AFC Championship, or
Very
2, or 3, or
integral.
4, or 5, or 6. And I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I don't want to see it.
Speaking of people that don't want to see it, Jerry, is this ever good? When is this going to end?
2 weeks ago, to this day, we were making Super Bowl predictions. We're not going to talk about the NFC side of the Super Bowl predictions, but the AFC side.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No. The AFC side, I said the Kansas City Chiefs. Nobody's expecting them to get there. They have Patrick Mahomes. They're going to get there. They are going to get there.
They won't.
I've seen
Not
it
so
time
fast.
and time again. It's the same GD song and dance every single
Please,
year.
no.
Every single year.
I know.
I hate it. I hate it.
I'm sure you do. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing it myself. But let's not be totally negative towards the Chiefs. A heck of a win on the road. Patrick Mahomes' first road game in the playoffs. That's so disgusting to hear. First road game in the playoffs. He's victorious. And, you know, congratulations to the Chiefs and Mahomes on 6 straight AFC championships. And, you know, they have a tough opponent on the road again in Baltimore. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But well, that wraps up the longest recap, an hour-long recap of these games. We're going to go to a brief intermission, and then we'll be right back to preview Conference Championship Weekend. See you.
Easy $20.
Browns and Jaguars game. We made it to our seats. Jason, Duval County, how we feeling before the game? Duval! Brian, Cleveland, Cuyahoga County, how we feeling?
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Boom, boom.
All right, it's going to be a good one. Stay tuned to watch. What do you think?
Woo!
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Oh, 14-0, baby. Let's go.
Oh, man. Jason, post-game analysis. What happened?
Not now.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Unnamed Sports Show. Again, I'm your host, Ryan. I'm joined by Jason and Jerry. You saw Jason flexing up there. He's looking good. We're all been working out. We're trying to get ready for a football game with a bunch of... We're not?
Oh,
We're not working out, or we're not?
Oh,
I haven't
this is
been working
100% for the wedding, but
Yeah, I haven't
also-
been working out, but
Working out for Jerry's wedding, but also we're playing a football game, aren't we?
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I
Oh,
need to get in
no?
the gym.
yeah.
no, we're playing.
We
We're playing.
definitely are.
We're playing.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Have I been training for nothing?
We're about to give my future stepdad CTE in this football game, dog.
Dude,
No.
if you
We got
ask,
a big
I know
game
you're
coming up.
watching.
if you ask Chandler Jones, CTE doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. What about?
I don't
speaking
know
about
what
talk shows,
series stand for.
Talking
but-
about talk shows, a Chandler Jones, Antonio Brown talk show. Can we say electric? I'm
That
just
would be
kidding.
off the rails, man. That would be so
That's
awesome.
literally
Yeah.
Literally off the
rails.
rails.
Literally off the rails. Anyway, it's conference championship weekend. We have the NFC and AFC championship this weekend, both on Sunday. We start off Chiefs at Ravens. Ravens 3.5-point favorites at home. Not surprising. Over under set at 44.5 points. Jerry, give us your preview for this game. What do you see happening?
Patrick Mahomes is inevitable. He's coming. He's here. He's going to win. Give me the Chiefs on the points. Give me the Chiefs money line. He's going to find a way. They've figured out if they just throw the ball to Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice and don't give the ball to anybody else, they can win the game. They saw what happens when you give the ball to somebody else. They give the ball to Mecole Hardman, fumbles it in the end zone. Travis Kelce had one heck of a game. By the way, we didn't talk about it before, but Jason Kelce being shirtless, chugging beers, and in the crowd, stepping out of the box was awesome. When they panned to Taylor Swift and Jason Kelce's just shirtless, chugging beers behind her, that's what real dreams are made of right there. But anyways,
Also, sorry to add on to that, his girlfriend just in the background, like, "Yep, this is normal. This
Yep.
is fine."
yep.
This is cool.
Yeah, but give me Patrick Mahomes. He's going to do it again. Also, I got to stick with my Super Bowl prediction. I'm rooting for the Ravens. Like I said, if Lamar wins, I'm buying a Lamar jersey. Probably. But give me the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Give me the under, too. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be one of those really tightly played games, like probably under 40 points. We're looking at maybe 20-17. Field goal to win the game by Harrison Butker. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Say it.
Not so fast, my friend. Look, Lamar Jackson has one goal and one goal only: to win a Super Bowl. All right, he's won MVP. He's won a playoff game. He's leading the league in rushing yards. Sorry, quarterback rushing yards. He broke the record. Future broke by Justin Fields, but that doesn't matter. Anyways, yeah, I had to throw that Justin Fields comment in there. Okay, but that being said, what we haven't seen is a Super Bowl win from Lamar Jackson, and he will take the reins from Patrick Mahomes, come out there with a number one defense, and with a defense that won't let you throw to one player, as we saw from the Texans. Is not going to allow Rice to go off like that, and hopefully you get Marlon Humphrey back healthy. I believe he's going to be back. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure Marlon Humphrey is going to be back. So
I think Mark Andrews is going to be back this week too, right?
And Mark Andrews is going to be back. So you mix that with Isaiah Likely. It don't matter what side of the ball you throw it to. You got someone open. All right. So calm down, Jerry. I know you're a Denver fan. You've seen it. You know that before.
He
The
owns me.
Ravens.
He
Hey,
owns me, bro.
by Derrick Henry, I know. I know how it feels. All right. That being said, they're not. The Ravens aren't our team. They're a better team. They're the best team, second best team, maybe. Depends on who you ask. In the NFL, and they're going to take the win from the Ravens. Give me the line. Give me the over. Ravens win.
The over.
I like it. I like it. Uh, so kind of off a bit with you. It's hard to root against, or not root. I'm sorry. It's easy to root against Patrick Mahomes. It's hard to go against Patrick Mahomes, especially if you're a betting man, which all three of us are. Um, Patrick Mahomes, obviously 6 straight AFC Championship games. You're talking about multiple time Super Bowl winner. The most recent Super Bowl winner. He's in the AFC Championship game again. He's the best quarterback in the world right now, and could eventually be the best quarterback to ever play the game. However, that Ravens defense is legit. And what I used to think the best defense in the league, the Browns got torched, and the following week the Ravens shut that team completely down. And their offense wasn't doing anything in the first half, really. And then finally, the second half, they're like, all right, why don't we just start doing what we're really good at, which is running the football? And they just ran and ran and ran and dominated the Texans. I think they're going to do the same thing to the Chiefs. I think the Ravens are just too good. I'm sorry. Sorry. Did I just say the Ravens? The old Browns are so good across the board that the Chiefs are just they're going to compete for the first 2 to 3 quarters. I just think at the end of the game, it's the Ravens are just too good. They're just too good. It's similar to what we say about the 49ers, just they're not all stars, but sometimes the team with just the better players wins, and they don't have a hole. The Ravens do not have a hole. So because of that, give me the Ravens -3.5 and the under for sure. Sorry, Jason. I know you like the over, but
That's fine.
I'm smashing the under on this game. That Ravens defense is too good, and the Chiefs receivers do not know how to catch a football. So,
Yeah,
moving on.
fact.
Next, the
That's a fact.
it is a fact, 100% fact. The next game, Lions at 49ers. 49ers 7-point favorites in this one, which seems to be a pretty big spread for the NFC Championship game. The over under is set at 50.5 points. Jason, lead us off here. What do you see happening in this game?
A whole lot of offense. A whole lot of offense. Because, boy, do they have weapons everywhere on the offensive side of the ball. Yes, the 49ers have a good defense. The Lions play better defense than their players are. But I think you're going to see a offensive shootout because throwing the ball, running the ball, big plays. I think both sides do give up certain big plays here and there, and we'll see a lot of big plays happen, running or passing. So give me the over, smash the over, and then I don't -7 is crazy. I think the 49ers are going to win the game. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think by 7. I think maybe they get a last second touchdown that puts them up by like 4 or 3. But
Jerry, your thoughts? Lions, Niners, 7-point favorites for the 49ers.
Yeah, both of these teams can do everything on the offensive side of the ball. They run well, they pass well, they can do it all. I think last week, Jason and I were talking, we said hammer the over in the Packers 49ers game. I think without the weather, that over hits, but because of the weather, it's kind of a sloppier game. This week, hit the over. 50.5, hit the over. That's hitting for sure. And I'm riding with the Honolulu Blues. Give me the Lions over the 49ers. First ever Super Bowl appearance. Jared Goff. Jared Goff is going to do it. He's going to do it for the city of Detroit. Dan Campbell's got those boys bought in. Brock Purdy gonna have the pressure coming for him. He's gonna feel it a little bit. Gonna come down to the end of the game. Lions go down, kick a last-second field goal to win the game, and send Detroit to the Super Bowl in Las Vegas.
I like it. Thanks for stealing my thunder. I thought for sure you were picking the 49ers. I was going to be like, give me the Detroit. But you stole my thunder. It's fine. The Lions, as we were talking about earlier in the show, they have players at every position. They're really good, but they just aren't as cohesive a unit as the Detroit Lions are. Yes, they are expected to win. Yes, they are a very, very good team, and they're led by a good quarterback. And we need to realize that Brock Purdy is a good quarterback. He's not like, your grandma couldn't sit back there. Don't get me wrong. If your grandma was back there, they'd still have a good offense. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo won an NFC championship throwing the
Look,
ball
my grandma
7
can
times.
hand the ball off to
So-
Christian McCaffrey too. Okay.
Yeah. But in all honesty, he made some incredible throws in that Packers game. That ball to George Kittle was absolutely insane for I believe it was their first touchdown. He had a lot of really good plays, and he had other plays where he looked like Mr. Irrelevant, but it'll happen. I think that their team is a really good one. I think they have a lot of strong pieces, and I think Brock Purdy is a perfect quarterback to have back there. But I think the Lions just have so much momentum. They're just team of destiny type vibes. Like, they are so tight knit. They are such a good group, and they know, hey, our team has, and it's not even, we've never been to a Super Bowl, which is true, obviously, which is, that's a motivator. But take the step back. To get to the Super Bowl, you have to be an NFC champion. The Lions have never won an NFC championship game in the Super Bowl era, so that is going to be motivation enough. We're going to be the first team ever in the Super Bowl era to win the NFC championship as a Lion, and I think they're going to come out with their hair on fire. I think they're going to be, even on defense, I think they're going to be flying around. I think they win this game, not handily. I think it's really close, but I think the Lions pull it out as well. But thanks for stealing my thunder, Jerry.
Sorry, bud.
Hey, Mom Craig, I do not approve it. The message that they just said. All right, not at all. I just want you to know that.
Know that your son
Niners
picked
winning
that.
this game.
Listen,
I've been around the
Browns fan.
49ers my whole life, okay? My whole life. I hate them almost as much as the Chiefs, okay? Give me the Lions. Give it to me.
Hey,
Well,
I was a fool one time too. All right.
Last I heard,
We'll
you
see
were a
you next
fool
week.
11 times in a row on this show.
We'll see you next week. Now, just to get this right, Jason, you have Ravens -3.5, correct?
Correct.
And 49ers or Lions +7.
Yes.
Jerry, you have Chiefs money line and Lions money line.
Yep, both underdogs money line.
And I have Ravens -3.5 and Lions money line. All right, let's remember that for next week when the Lions are playing the Ravens in the Super Bowl. Anyway.
I hope so. I'll take 49ers Ravens. Just anybody but the Chiefs, please.
It can't be 49ers Ravens. It really just can't be 49ers Ravens.
Well, unfortunately, it just can be.
No, but the thing is, there's this narrative going around that the NFL is scripted, and it's gaining a bunch of traction. And they're saying that it's all hidden in the Super Bowl logo. It's very silly. It's all nonsense. But
It is.
I don't want to give credence to this silly idea any more than it already has. All right, let's stamp it out. Let's it be Chiefs Lions. Let it be the complete opposite of what everyone's expecting. So anyway, that's my rant part 2 today. So hope
The NFL is scripted and rigged.
It is not, because I'll stop watching. No, who am I kidding?
Not me. I would still watch.
It'll be the Browns here eventually. Anyway, that wraps up the NFL talk. It has been a fantastic season, guys. We have literally 3 more games left of the NFL season. It's absolutely incredible. It's so sad. This has been the main focal point of our entire show. And so we're going to have to get really good at knowing some other sports. With that in mind, let's transition. Do you like that?
Nice segue.
Segue into, little NBA talk. Some crazy stuff has happened this week. Jerry, why don't you lead us off? Give us a little bit of that NBA talk.
All right. So I think it was Monday night. We had Joel Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns going off. Embiid puts up 70. Was it last
I
night?
thought that
It
was
might have been
yesterday.
last night. Might have been last night. Embiid goes
Go ahead.
off for 70. Karl Anthony Towns goes off for 62, but loses. They lose to the Hornets with Karl Anthony Towns scoring 62 points. He had 52 at the end of the first half. They
He was on
bench
pace
him.
for 104. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then scores. I think he scored 6 in the third quarter, only 4 in the fourth. They benched him in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes to go, 3 or 4 minutes to go, while he has 62 points
Well, did you
in a
hear?
close game. In a close game.
Did you hear what the guard said? What's his name? Anthony Edwards.
Mm-mm.
What'd he say?
They said we weren't focused on basketball. It was just give him the ball. Give him the ball.
Yeah, he scored
Like-
62 points. I'd give him the ball too.
Yeah, when you got a guy that hot, when you got a guy
Right.
dropping all these points, then yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Okay, but it was like how he said
Well,
it.
they
He was
won.
like, we wanted him to score 100 points, not actually win the game.
I see. Well, clearly their coach didn't think that because they benched him. It doesn't.
I mean, they brought him back in, obviously, but when a guy is that hot, he plays.
Yeah,
the
but he
whole
also
game. When
missed,
he's your
like,
superstar.
He did.
He
He
missed
missed a
like
lot in the fourth
6
quarter.
shots in a row. Like,
Yeah.
what are we talking about here? Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. There's a big difference between forcing 70 points and actually going out there and dropping 70 points on someone's head.
Right.
He dropped six. If you're scoring over 60, that isn't
Impressive.
going to be 60.
Impressive.
That is
Impressive.
dropping
Impressive.
60.
On
Impressive.
the
That's
anniversary
impressive,
of Kobe's
impressive, impressive.
81, by the way. All this happened on the anniversary of Kobe's 81.
Kobe is the perfect example of this. Literally, his last game, force fed him the ball, got 60 points. It wasn't like he was like, but Kobe, you know what I'm saying? It was literally put the ball in his hands and drops.
He still
60
won the
points.
game.
He did. You're right. He did. It's Kobe Bryant. We're talking about someone else, right? Who didn't win the game because he couldn't score in the fourth quarter.
True.
Different. Embiid went out there, dominated the game, showed why he's the MVP. One guy's like, oh, I can do that too, and couldn't really do that. All right, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's different.
In his
It's-
defense, he shot 60% from the field and was 10 for 15 from 3.
Yeah. I'm sorry. He had 44 in the first half, not 52. My apologies.
But no, that's fine. But to me, if you're talking about a guy that we're force feeding him, that's someone that is not shooting at 60%. If you're shooting at 60% from the field, you're shooting at what? 10 for 15. What would that be? I'll do the quick math here.
That's 2/3,
10 for
66.
15,
Right?
67%.
Yeah. You're shooting at 67% from 3. That's not force feeding you the ball. That's dropping 60. He didn't
Yeah.
shoot 43 from the field. He didn't shoot 32% from 3. Like that's I understand what you're saying, and he missed
Right.
a lot in a row in the second half. I get it, but backing up a little bit. What a heck of a performance.
Agreed.
Both of
Agreed.
them, from both of them. And you're right. Joel Embiid's obviously the better player of the two. I mean, he's a dog, honestly.
I agree, but I heard somebody, or I saw on Twitter, somebody called him the Dak Prescott of the NBA. And I was like, that's a pretty good comparison for how he performs in the playoffs.
Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's more that he just like literally gets hurt.
Yeah. I think this year, without them having James Harden back there, they got a shot this year.
No, I
Tyrese
agree.
Maxey is awesome. He's awesome.
Absolutely. I'm gonna act like I've been watching all year. Absolutely, 100%. They got a shot. Hey, before we get to the Bucks news, let me talk about something I do know. Cavs are on a win streak right now, red hot.
They
They're-
are.
Without two of our better players.
They what?
I said without two of our better
Oh, I
players.
know. I
Yeah.
know. We're 11-3 in our last 14, and we're on an 8-game win streak. I believe that's right.
Mhm.
What? Like, what's
Eight-game
up with
win
our
streak.
bench?
I don't know.
What's his name? Georges Niang and
Ning and
the other dude.
I apologize for not remembering your name.
Dude.
It's all right.
He literally had 20.
We're still in the middle of football season. We're getting
Yeah.
there. Give us a
But-
couple weeks.
Listen, I know 3 players on that team. That's all I need to know.
Sam
No,
Merrill.
you need to know
Sam
4.
Merrill.
Sam
Sam
Merrill.
Merrill.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I
You
know
better know 4.
I know 4. Don't worry. Don't worry. Anyway, moving on. Go ahead. What was that last piece of news you guys had from NBA talk?
You want to take it, Jason?
Wait, what?
The
What-
Bucks.
Oh, right. Sorry. When you said Bucks, I was thinking Buckeyes.
We have
Not
such a good show.
Milwaukee Bucks.
We have such a good show.
If you're
Uh,
still watching,
God.
thank you.
The Milwaukee Bucks. Look. Again, like you said, football mind only. You said Bucks, I think Buckeyes. I'm like, that's not NBA. What are we talking about? Pause. All right. Doc Rivers is going to be the head coach for the Milwaukee Bucks. Why you say Jerry asked this question? I said I think it's because without Antetokounmpo, this looked like the worst team in the NBA. With Damian Lillard, they still have a solid team around him. Like they have Damian Lillard, they have Chris Middleton. When Antetokounmpo did not play, they have not been able to perform well at all. Yes, he is the best player on that team and considered the best player in the league. Maybe maybe not this year, but top 5 player in the league by far, by none. And when he hasn't played, they've looked just bad, atrocious, losing to bad teams. Like you can't do that. You still have Damian Lillard, the dude who dropped 72 points last year. Let's not forget, or 71. That.
Fed.
I should have benched him, honestly.
If he missed 8 in a row, yeah. Anyways, but you get some leadership in there, maybe some better offensive scheming. Hopefully, we'll see. I'm not like the greatest huge Doc Rivers supporter right now. I don't know if he still should be a coach in the NBA. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
He's just joining the Bucks to get bounced by the Celtics again in the second round.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, I mean, Doc Rivers he's kind of been that guy that's really got it done with the Celtics back in the day, but since then he's really had limited success. I mean, his time with the Clippers and his time with the Sixers, he just could never get over that hump. You know, he never led a team to another finals appearance. I don't know. I don't understand why they're firing their coach personally. You're telling me a team without their best player is not playing like one of the best teams in the league? Wow, that's literally every team. Every team without their best weapons is not going to be able to get it done most of the time. That being said, Giannis has more of an impact on that team than I initially gave him credit for because Duke can ball. Duke can ball. But I would also like to think that the Cavs had something to do with this firing because they beat the Bucks by 40 last week without Giannis. So that's probably
100% that.
Yeah.
Like,
And we're down. Oh,
two.
only down 3
What?
now.
I know. We were down 11 there for a second.
Come back, baby.
But
Come back,
now we're
Caesar.
down 3. Anyway, sorry about that. No, it'll be interesting to see. To be honest with you, as I've mentioned a bunch, I haven't watched much NBA other than paying attention to what's going on with the Cavs this year, but that's definitely going to change as we transition into the NBA. Last couple things here. First up, Ohio State moving to college football a little bit, dominating the transfer portal. Jason, why don't you take it away here?
With my looking like money, like my Ohio State Buckeyes. Anyways, that little Drake slide in there. We got money, all right, people. We got money and we're spending it, all right. We go get a top 5 quarterback in the transfer portal. We get the number 2 interior offense lineman in the portal from Alabama. We get Caleb Downs, the number 1 safety in the transfer portal, if not the best safety in the whole nation. We go get, who am I missing? Oh, the number 1 running back in the transfer portal, Jenkins, and bring back probably the best running back to be draft eligible this year and spend a little bit more money there, and then go back and let's bring back Emeka Ibuka. Why not? Can't have Marvin Harrison. You might as well bring back Emeka, right? And then while bringing in the number 1 receiver in the nation. Oh yeah. Oh man. Is it good? Is it good to be a Buckeye? Oh, guess what? Harbaugh's leaving. Bye bye. So
Finished
no,
with a losing record against Ohio State, by the way. Just wanted to point that out. 3-5 against
3-5. Last 4 coaches for the
Wow,
Michigan.
so impressive. Oh, there's Harbaugh, so amazing. Oh my God, 3-5, so good. Go ahead.
That being said, he did win 3 in a row. Congrats.
Hey, how many we win in a row? All right, Joe.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna give the man his props, and then I'm gonna say this respectfully. Bye the rest of the NCAA. All right. We lose Harbaugh. We're spending money. We're ahead of the game in the NIL. We have brought. Oh. Did I forget the number 1 quarterback from the 25 or 24 class is now a Buckeye, and then we also have the third quarterback. The third quarterback in that same class is coming to us already. Was already signed, and you know what they want to do? They want to battle for their spot instead of transfer out. All right, goodbye NCAA. You remember the dominant years where Alabama was always number 1 and always winning championships. This is what you're about to see from Ohio State. We're real. We're here to stay.
That.
For a very long time.
Somebody
Put
clip
it wherever
that.
you want it. Clip it. Put it on my header. I don't care. Like that. This is us now. Like, forget about it. You had your fun, NCAA. Good luck.
We're the only team to have the number 1, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. We're the only team to ever in the offseason have the number 1 ranked transfer portal and the number 1 ranked recruiting class. So
it's championship or bust. Like,
it
actually is.
It actually is. If we don't win a Big Ten title, if we don't at least make the championship game, Ryan Day will be fired.
No, I'm saying this is national championship or bust.
That's what I'm saying. No, I know.
Yeah.
I would like to list all the we have to beat Michigan, win the Big Ten title, and at least make it to the national. If we lose in the national championship game to, I don't know who's going to be back this year. Georgia. Yeah. If we lose this year to Georgia in the national championship game in a close, good game, Ryan Day will keep his job. Short of that, he will be fired.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any choice. But let's not be negative here. Let's be excited. Holy crap. All these players are like, yeah, I guess Nick Saban's not here anymore. Let's go play for Ohio State. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, no,
the largest contract as the Big Ten has with media. You're talking about the school that raises the most money, has some of the best brand recognition in the entire United States. I mean, Nick Saban was literally the only reason we haven't been absolutely dominating, I think, with the recruiting. I mean, we've done pretty good.
Them in Georgia, I would give it to Georgia. But goodbye, good riddance. It's over for y'all. It's over. You had your fun. All right, you had your fun. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. I love it. One last topic I wanted to cover here on the before we head out on the Unnamed Sports Show. This weekend, I had the pleasure of going with my mom to the Ohio State women's basketball game against Iowa. Ohio State against Iowa, and Caitlin Clark was there. And there's something going on right now in women's basketball that I don't think has probably ever happened in women's basketball. And it sure wasn't this case in the other 2 games I've been to for women's basketball. That entire stadium was sold out. The entire Schottenstein Center. I went to the men's game on Saturday against Penn State. Good game. We won that game. It was great. Then went to the game on Sunday. Doubled the amount of people at the men's game, strictly to watch Caitlin Clark. There's people in the crowd all decked out in Ohio State gear. Their little girls are wearing Caitlin Clark jerseys. It's pretty incredible what she's doing. And
Bah.
I don't know what
Is
that was.
that a goat?
She's the goat.
Oh, okay.
Go. I got
She's a
it.
goat.
Get it. So,
I thought you were saying
she's been-
bad, like she's
Yeah.
the devil.
No. Bah. Bah.
if by the devil you mean a reaper of souls, she dropped 43 against us.
And lost.
But we still won. Let's go. No, it was an incredible game. Went into overtime. Caitlin Clark did get decked by a fan storming the court. I hope she's okay. Don't shake your head, Jerry. She did.
Flop.
She
She-
got hit.
she
You
flopped.
did
She
you see
flopped.
the video? That was.
Bro, she looked like James Harden out there, dog. She's like,
She was fine. And
That being said,
that being said, everything was okay. Whatever. We
The
don't want anyone to get
Buckeyes-
hurt.
yeah, exactly. The Buckeye staff or security staff should have been
Exactly. Much better about that.
much better about that. She personally should always be escorted out of games because she's that.
Yeah.
figure.
And
Yeah.
also there's some questionable calls. I started seeing some of the stuff like she was getting every call and fouling and they weren't calling and she went up. We would have won the game actually. We were up 2. Or no, we were tied. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this made me so mad. We were tied and she goes up with like 15 seconds left and double clutch. Our best player who dropped 33 by the way, she's amazing, came flying across the paint and did like it was a great move because she didn't like fly into her, but she didn't block the shot. But she made Caitlin double clutch and then try to draw the foul, but she dodged the foul and launches it off the glass, like not even close. And they blow the whistle. They showed the replay in the Schottenstein on this big screen. They show the replay. Didn't even touch her. Didn't even touch her. 2 shots. They go up 2 with like 10 seconds left. And we give it to our girl. She drives down and hits a freaking crazy layup. Boom, ties the game, takes us to overtime. It was incredible. So anyway, all that to say, she right now, Caitlin Clark, is selling out arenas across the entire United States. People are so excited to come watch her play. And it's something that I think we should talk about because I don't think enough people are. And it's pretty incredible what she's doing for women's sports as a whole.
yeah, she's awesome.
She's incredible at basketball.
Kobe said it the best. She's a Mamba. All right, she got that mentality.
Yeah, she
did.
is a
She did.
stone cold killer, man. She might play in the NBA. I don't know.
She's got this. So she got this dribble left step back. It's
Yeah.
it is unguardable. She does this left dribble. She pushes off a little bit, but it's Caitlin Clark. They let her get away with it every time. Having said that, she'll have an inch of space and bang every time, bang from 10 feet behind the 3-point line. She pulled one. She missed this one, but she had the confidence. They were up 1 point. She wanted to kind of put a dagger in with about a minute left, and she pulled up from 3 feet inside the half court line and rimmed out. I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
good Lord. And again, she had 43 points. It's not like she had a bad night. So anyway, it was incredible. It was an awesome game to go see with my mom, and it was cool what she's doing for women's sports as a whole.
Ohio State's doing pretty well in women's basketball this year, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, we have 3 losses. And we were 18th going into that game, but I believe
Probably
I'm
top
sure
10
we're top
now.
10 now. Yeah. After that massive win, we still have to go to Iowa and play them, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean it was a great time. It was a great time. But that about wraps it up here for us at the Unnamed Sports Show. We appreciate those that decided to come watch. If you are listening at a later date, please don't forget, like, subscribe, leave us a comment. We really appreciate all the support. Follow us on our social media at Unnamed Sports S. We are on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And we will see you next time. Thank you.
Peace out.